Enzo Lefort is his opponent, higher ranked. On paper, potentially the favourite here. But they don't fence on paper. So here we go, the second men's foil semi-final. Dmitry Zherebchenko of Russia on the left versus Enzo Lefort of France on the right. Lawrence Halstead, what are your thoughts as we get into the early stages of this semi-final?
Yeah, looking at these two, they both have a lot of experience at this very top level. And I wouldn't call either of them a favourite, to be honest. I think they're also excellently matched. But in Zherebchenko's last round match against Cassara, where he was not the favourite, he ended up running away with the match. So even though I wouldn't like to call it between them, who knows how this match is going to go.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because Enzo Lefort's route here has perhaps been a little easier. Sometimes that means that you benefit from not using up your energy reserves, but Dmitry Zherebchenko has taken out the world number 5 Chung of Hong Kong, and as you said, the world number 3 Andrea Cassara of Italy en route, and that's going to give him some confidence.
Of course, Lefort had a very difficult fight against a certain Danish fencer earlier.
Yeah, of course he did, yes.
He was really pushed to his limit there, so not that easy a day.
Lawrence, of course, the head of the performance program in Denmark, and actually Thomas Berg did give him a big challenge early on.
He really did, yeah.
But that retirement of Choi in the quarterfinals meant he went through having fenced about 1 minute and 10 seconds.
But Andrea Cassara didn't give Zherebchenko too much more work than Choi did to Lefort.
Yeah, that was a bit of a one-way 15-6, I think it was in the end. 15-7.
This is going to be a match with a lot of energy. Lefort fences with so much movement, so much dynamism, and Zherebchenko is up to that challenge, I think.
Well, to be fair, the last semi-final was also pretty full of energy and full of movement. And Mamedov there, the Russian coach, looking on. Nothing in it, as we just have had under a minute here in the first period of 3. And just a reminder that foil is the lightest of the 3 fencing weapons. The target area is just the torso. And in order to score a hit, you either have to have the right of way, i.e. have the attack, or you have to hit your opponent to make sure they don't hit you. It's the only weapon where you can hit off target. If you have the right of way, no hit will be scored, and the match has restarted from that position, as we saw some hand signals from Emeric Clot, the French coach for Enzo Lefort.
Lefort pushing Zherebchenko right to the end of the piece, but not finishing. Still just waiting for an action from Zherebchenko, which he could then deal with. A nice late parry riposte. That's what he was going for.
Attack from Lefort from the right, going around the arm of the left-handed Russian. And he's just bought himself a little bit of space on that side of the piece as well. Sometimes when you see left-handers going up against right-handers, they really cling to the sword arm side of the piece to negate that angle going in around the sword arm. It, of course, negates it for both of them. trying for a parry riposte there, the Frenchman. Finally, it's a beat attack given by the Italian referee, Isacco Scomparin. Well, Lefort, he's definitely trying for the beat here. And now it looks like there's a card coming out.
I realised when they all came out for the presentation that I sit in a particular demographic. I fenced all of these fences, these 4 fences, and 2 of the referees.
That's pretty unique.
Yeah. That time Zherebchenko had control of the distance, and Lefort tried to push his finish through, unlike the time before where he forced an action, forced a reaction from Zherebchenko. And
Zherebchenko very high with the hand as he approaches. It seems clear to me that Lefort is trying to finish his attacks, but starts them with a beat. He's trying to establish that right of way.
Some fencers just like to kind of play with the blade, even if it doesn't get them the right of way, not necessarily, just to kind of have a feeling for their opponent. So the more you kind of have the blade, you take it every so often, you kind of feel the distance somewhat, and you feel like you have a bit more control over your opponent.
You're also perhaps looking to see what reaction you get from the opponent, whether it's going to be what kind of parry it's going to be. Missed the blade that time, but still had the right of way.
It's amazing how every single small kind of micro action you make has an impact in your opponent's brain. So every beat does have, he's pushed through a long classic Enzo Lefort attack there.
And finishing nicely on the shoulder as well.
So every beat, every slight twitch of your hand, it's sending a signal to your opponent. And the aim of this game is to send the signals that you want them to get, and kind of outwit them with the second thing in mind, with the second intention in mind.
At this level, though, is everything second intention?
No, not necessarily everything. Enzo Lefort forced through a first intention attack there. If you're just thinking about hitting with your one burst of activity, that would be a first intention action. And there are plenty of those to be had as well. But you don't get to this stage without having a well-honed second intention style of fencing as well.
So in effect, if you're not completely au fait with the terminology, you're setting a little trap to create an opportunity that is a trick for your opponent, to draw your opponent, for example, into attacking you, because actually what you want to do, your real intention, is to find a parry riposte, as an example.
Exactly, that would be a good example. Enzo Lefort just has the kind of edge in some of these crunch actions, and that's why he's taken a 7-4 lead.
Well, he set that one up, really, didn't he? He said that he said to Zherebchenko, "Come on, then attack me." Zherebchenko was halted in his attack by what was effectively a counter-attack.
I think it might even have been simultaneous, but Enzo was just more committed. And Zherebchenko was not.
Oh, that's a lovely stop hit, though.
Zherebchenko committed to that action, but probably starting from too long a distance.
Watch this hit here. So you're counter-attacking. You don't have the right of way. You launch out the hit, and you've got to make sure you don't get hit yourself, because if you get hit, it's their attack. It's their right of way. But how good does that make you feel when you land those hits?
Pretty good, but Zherebchenko was millimeters from actually landing his attack, so I don't think Lefort would have felt too confident about that one. Almost, he got away with it.
Well, it's given him a 4-point lead. It was actually a 5-point lead, but Zherebchenko struck back immediately. And it
started that attack and finished it fluidly enough, in my opinion. And the referees thought Zherebchenko wanted to ask the referee to see the video, but he's accepted the decision.
You can start slowly, can't you, in foil fencing? As long as your hand continues and finishes in a straight line and hits your opponent, you have the right of way, and your opponent's job is to either defend with the blade or run away and make you miss. And that's a parry riposte. So everything coming out from Enzo Lefort. The counter-attack, followed by the stop hit, then followed by an attack. I mean, this is really great stuff. Yeah. Parry riposte as well to complete the 4 major moves.
That's what will make a fencer truly confident in a match, when they're getting hits with a full range of actions. They feel like they've always have something else to go to. If one thing doesn't work suddenly, they can still get hits from the others. Zherebchenko has questioned the referee's decision here. And
Your feeling?
I can't see that he's going to be successful. It looked like a strong enough parry riposte from Lefort. And
surely Zherebchenko must be thinking that himself. I'm sure the Russian coach is going to be pretty convinced as well that that's Lefort's. Maybe this is just a bit about buying some time and halting the hit run that Lefort's on. Here comes Skomparin, the referee.
Yeah, it was a good parry riposte. Now, this is beginning to look like Lefort's fight. He really is controlling all areas at the moment.
Starting slowly again, drawing the counter-attack from Zherebchenko. Lefort goes 7 points up. That's twice now in 5 hits, and the Russian coach is, well, clearly providing some instruction, let's say, to Zherebchenko. Zherebchenko now going back to beating the blade.
You can see Lefort feels his opponent at the moment. He's taking the blade nicely. His attacks are flowing. Hits are coming from everywhere. Zherebchenko really needs to change this fight dramatically, change the style of it.
Well, there's bags of time. It's just the end of the first period here. But what a start from Enzo Lefort. He went on a bit of a hit run in the last 40 seconds. He's gone 11-4 up against Dmitry Zherebchenko and the Frenchman in the box seat. Emeric Clot there, Lawrence, talking with Enzo Lefort. What can he say? Keep doing the same thing, please?
Basically, keep doing the same thing. Hold your discipline. You don't need to stress. Those kind of things, and he will come through. On the other side, a lot to say. Change up, change your rhythm. Maybe just put some more pressure on Lefort without trying to finish. He really just has to find something now to push this fight into a different dynamic, because nothing's really working for him at the moment.
What about beating the blade? I mean, Enzo Lefort's been playing with the blade, knocking it around. What about, because I think if he gives him any ground, Enzo Lefort's just going to chase him down and go and hit him.
Yeah.
So he's got to come after him. But every time he steps forward, Lefort seems to have the right of way. So what about taking the blade?
Taking the blade, yeah, that's an option to try and disturb your opponent. Just beating the blade for its own sake.
So they're ready for the second period here in the second men's foil semi-final. This to see who faces Marcus Mepstead of Great Britain in the gold medal match at the 2019 World Championships. Dmitry Zherebchenko of Russia on the left is 11-4 down against Enzo Lefort, and I think you can safely say that was his attack, Lefort's, and he's gone 12-4 up. What a start, Lawrence.
Yeah, this is looking like a one-way match. As I said at the beginning, I wouldn't have been able to call it, but it looks like it's going to be just one-sided. That's an attack from Zherebchenko. Finally gets on the scoreboard after a while being on the wrong end.
I don't think Zherebchenko can concede ground here. I think Lefort's going to hit too often here. The gap's too big. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, not only is Lefort's attack more powerful, but he's also getting the timing for his attacks. Zherebchenko is being drawn to attack at the wrong time, so he hasn't got the right of way either. So Lefort has the tactical game as well as the kind of power game going.
Well, somehow Zherebchenko blocked that one out, relying on his reactions to close the last line from Lefort. And
that would be Zherebchenko's. It started off as Lefort's attack, but Zherebchenko did enough to disturb him, and the attack wasn't fluid enough from Lefort, so he was going forward, but he had that brief pause, that hesitation, and Zherebchenko pounced on it.
Well, the referee went to have a look at the video of his own volition, and he's back. And spot on. Lawrence Halstead, Sako Skomparin calls it for Zherebchenko, but he's still down by 6 here with the target score of 15. And now the target score is just like 1 point closer.
Again, Zherebchenko gets drawn into attacking at a time where even if he gets the hit, even if he hits on target, he's not going to be awarded the hit because Lefort has the timing. So he's struggling here, Zherebchenko.
We'll get a good replay there, but the fencers are ready on the line. Lefort just 2 away from going into the gold medal match.
And he's over the back line anyway.
Oh, he's just stepped over it, did he?
Yeah.
And the point given there, just losing his head there. Not really a surprise with the pressure he's under. No point given so far, but there it is on the board. Lefort 1 away.
This is an extremely impressive performance from Enzo Lefort. And I think Marcus Mepstead, who he was likely going to, well, he will meet if he wins this, has his work cut out. Lefort has been totally dominant against a world-class opponent, and he doesn't look like he's tiring in the slightest.
Well, Zherebchenko asking now for a video review.
Looking back at the replay, it's millimeters if he did go over the line.
Merrick Clough there with his stress ball. Nerves asunder.
I can't see this making a difference even if it goes Zherebchenko's way, but it doesn't.
And that's video review burned, and a big conversation going on between the assistant referee and Mamedov. Zherebchenko fighting his way through here. He gets another one in close quarters. He's got to scrap, he's got to fight, and we know the Russian foilist can do that. But this is a big mountain to climb. It's a defeat for Zherebchenko. It was fairly one way. Enzo Lefort had the measure of the Russian. He was fencing in brilliant form, a great variety of movement and a great variety of actions from the world number 10, the 27-year-old Enzo Lefort, and he is into the gold medal match. He wins semi-final number 2.